today, the mayor outlined his 2013 budget proposal. That proposal includes the elimination of the Arts Department, the elimination of the Weights and Measures Department, 65 vacant positions will not be filled, and 35 city employees will need to find a new job. It also means cuts to the Parks Department and public safety.
We have in-depth coverage tonight, beginning with KXLY4's Kylee Cruz live at the Public Safety Building with what police and fire departments are now facing.
And during the mayor's press conference today, he made it clear that public safety is a top priority. There won't be any layoffs for police officers or firefighters, but those two departments are already stretched so thin, and the impact of this budget could dwindle down to the citizens.
As we anticipated, they care most about public safety and public services.
But is the community getting the service they want? We're seeing no layoffs for fire and police in 2013. But the picture isn't as bright as the mayor may be painting it.
We will eliminate vacant positions in both the large public safety departments.
The city will slash 18 vacant patrol officer positions, 2 civilian spots and 1 detective.
If somebody were to say, would you like more officers? It's like, of course we'd like more officers. I think the community would like more officers. But then again, we also have to look at what we can afford.
The city says they can afford 276 officers in 2013. According to the city budget proposal, these reductions in personnel may result in a delayed response to non-emergency calls, with the potential for the possible elimination of response to certain non-emergency calls like noise complaints. Those are the calls most of us are likely to make.
The volume of calls for service goes up next year, and we still have the same amount of officers we have now. That may make us cause an adjustment in how we respond.
The police department isn't the only one doing more with less. The fire department is also feeling the pains of the budget.
We don't have a lot here. We rely heavily on our people to be able to, at times, do superhuman things, and that gets really difficult.
The proposal would cut 9 vacant relief firefighters, and those firefighters come in when someone calls in sick or goes on vacation.
And it may result in, because we have such finite amount of overtime left, in station closures, station brownouts, decreased level of services.
But in the end, both departments stress that they'll continue to do their best with what they have.
We're spread very thin, but we're still meeting our goals that the public expects. We're still focused on our mission, and we're still providing the best service that we possibly can with the dollars that the community can afford.
And the mayor plans to present his final budget to City Council in the beginning of October. Now, both the Police Guild and the Firefighters Union are currently in negotiations with the city, and coming up at 6, we'll let you know how those contract negotiations could impact the two departments' budgets. Reporting live tonight at City Hall, I'm Kylee Cruz, KXLY4 HD News.
Kylee, thanks so much. The mayor's budget is designed to leave money in people's pockets by foregoing the expected annual property tax increase. It limits utility rate increases to 3.5%.
The typical household will pay about $3.60 more per month. That's compared to the $12 a month increase the city had previously projected.
Pool hours and funding for senior centers are among the cuts proposed to the Parks and Rec Department.
Well, that department alone is facing a $1 million shortfall. And KXLY4's Annie Bishop live at Witter Pool with the details.
And starting next summer, hours at city pools, including here at Witter Pool, will be reduced by 2 hours 3 times a week, all in an effort to balance a very tight budget. Now, this move will save the city about $50,000. Leroy Eddy, director of Parks and Rec with Parks and Rec, says people spending less on classes and the general budget at a standstill. He's forced to make major cuts. Those cuts include eliminating 8 positions, reducing funding to 3 senior centers by $60,000, and scaling back on advertising and marketing, a move that will save the department $50,000. Total operating budget for Parks and Rec next year rings in at $17.6 million.
Overall, I would say they're strategic, and so what we did is we didn't do across-the-board cuts, and we had done that in previous years. The park board was very interested in doing something that was strategic and that would be long-lasting, so that if we make these reductions, they're going to help us this year and next year and the year after.
And the Parks Board plans to adopt this budget in September. It does not need City Council approval. Eddy says they also plan to cut back on classes offered. No word yet which programs will be cut. Reporting live, Annie Bishop, KXLY4 HD News.
All right, thank you, Annie. And while the mayor looks at ways to trim the budget, he'll be taking his full salary of $169,000 next year. Now, when he was voted into office last November, he agreed to a reduced salary of $100,000 because that's what former Mayor Mary Verner had put in the budget.